All right, what's up, everybody? This is the 7th episode of Andor. Spoiler review. Heavy spoiler review. So if you didn't know that already. And by the way, a lot of new people coming in, subscribing. Thank you so much. If you're brand new to the channel and you're just checking it out now and you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Trying to get us to 70,000 by the end of the year. That's what we're trying to do here. So we got a lot of different things on this channel. So we hope that you enjoy us. Okay. So Andor. This show, dude, I don't give a crap. Someone's like, oh, people aren't watching this as much as the other Star Wars show. Morons. I'll tell you that. This is the best Star Wars show written for sure. Mandalorian's still my favorite for sure. But writing wise, this is the smartest Star Wars show, Star Wars material since Empire Strikes Back. I mean, please keep watching the show. We need smart Star Wars. Please. I beg you. And I've seen people people that I respect and watch saying that this doesn't feel like Star Wars. What are you talking about? All the references in this episode to Palpatine and the idea of the different planets and the idea behind it. This is about the most Star Wars that I think we've seen in the Star Wars, the politics of Star Wars. Just because there's not a lot of Jedi and all that, but this is not the time for the Jedi. They're not running around at this point. There are no lightsabers. And Vader's not part of this at the moment. Like this is to me, and that's the stuff I love. The Sith and the Jedi, that's the stuff I want to see. I want to see that stuff in this tone. But that's not what this show is. This show is pure politics, character building, world building, the start of the rebellion. And Cassian wasn't even in this show, in this episode, for like the first 10, 15 minutes, but it didn't feel like, oh, well, he's not even in his own show. It's like, no, these are the events that are building up to things that are going to affect him and the people around him. And there was so much going on. And one of the big things here is when these two, Lucian and Mon Mothma, are talking, and she's like, did you do this? And he's like, come on. You know that I did it, and you know that you wanted me to do it. You gotta kick into gear. We need you to be the Mon Mothma that's sad about the Bothans. That's what we need. Because I'm not going to be around for too much longer. I'm probably going to crap out in season 2, and you're going to be the one that people are going to be following. You're going to be the leader. You're going to be the main one. And she gets into, her luxurious cab or whatever the car and takes off. And there was just so much because Mon Mothma shined in this one because she's there. And I'll just go right into I think my favorite exchange in the entire thing, which is, where was it? I think is it here? No, we'll talk about her too. She's back, and I love that. These two. What a great conversation between these two. He's like, you're not going to like my politics. I think the Empire is scumbags. She's like, well, funny you say that. Speaking of scumbags, there's my husband. But they have this great conversation. She's doing basically what Lucina had done to her. Yeah, smile and pretend that she's used to doing this stuff now. And she goes, just smile, pretend we're talking about the old days. And she's like, look, I learned from Palpatine. Like the second or third mention of Palpatine in this episode. I mentioned, she's like, make him look at the stone while you're putting the knife to their throat, or don't see the knife coming to the throat, whatever the line was. It was great. And she's just like, this is the start of it. This is the beginning. For those people who are like, why do I watch a show about Cassian when I know he's going to die? Because I want us to see for the longest time, like we saw in Rebels, what happened once the rebellion was in kind of full gear, right? Now we're seeing it really form. And Lucian going into saying, look, man, this is what we need to do. And even in the Empire scenes, when the Empire's, when the woman who's just kicking ass and saying, knowing that rebellion is taking place and going around the superiors, and what a great chess game in that scene with the Empire where he's like, look what she's doing. And then the head guy's like, well, wait a minute. State your case. And she does. And he's like, no, you're going to take over now. And by the way, watch your back. That whole thing in that chess piece, she knows what's going on. And she even says at one point, she's like, this wasn't a robbery. This was an announcement. It's like, oh, the dialogue in this show. It's like, oh, that's absolutely an announcement. They're starting. This is the beginning of a championship team. And you have all that start out and all that, Mon Mothma who's making these, she's making these moves now. And that after that scene with Skarsgård, she starts to realize, yeah, I gotta kick it into gear. I gotta do my thing. And she does. And then you get that other scene where are again from last week. The leader of the mission, she's coming back saying, "Oh, I was hoping Lucy was going to be here." It's like, nah, she's not going to be here. He's got other things to do. By the way, you need to kill Andor. She's like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, you got to find him, kill him. And then we get to Andor, and man, when we get to Andor, the scene, oh God, scene with his adopted mother. She's just like, he's like, "We got to get out of here. I got all these credits. I'm going to take you somewhere warm." She's like, "You're always going to be on the run, kid." And Pisspot comes back, and Pisspot is like, "Hey, can I talk to you? Shut your hole, you little trash can." Trying to talk to my kid here. And Pisspot gets sad, but he's like, "All right, look, I'm coming back for you." She's like, "Okay, go find Bix." He does, and what a great scene with her. Like, she's like, "Look, nobody like." Oh, there's a great line, by the way, with Tim when they talk about him, because, and I loved when he says to his mother, he's like, "Someone ratted me out." She's like, "Oh, you didn't know? Tim did it. But don't worry about Tim. He's dead." Like, wait, what? I love that he just didn't know. How would he know? He had to find out when he came back, and he paid attention to that detail in the writing. And so when he comes back and she's and because he's like, "Was Bix involved?" And she's like, "No, Bix wasn't involved." Bix is still sad about it, and we get the confirmation that they were a thing. And he talked about how he jumped over the gate and all that. And then you also, as he's walking through the square, you see the stuff with the Empire, and there's more there. There was more there, like someone that they knew. I guess he took that name Clem from someone that was involved in his past. And the guy they hung him up, and he goes back. His mother's like, "No, man, can't go with you. You got to get the hell out of here." He's like, "All right, I'm going to go. I'm just going to go do my thing." He takes off, and it's like it was just, there's so much to where he goes back and he's thinking about, he sees the stormtroopers and he's just kind of PTSD about being a kid, and he's told, "And don't worry about your sister. She's not, you're chasing, it's a wild goose hunt, man. Don't do it." And then what happens? He goes, he thinks he's scot-free. He thinks he's scot-free. And he's walking around on the beach, and he's hanging out with his new lady, and he's showering, he's holding his weapons, and that's not a pun. And then he's walking on the beach, and then people start running around. And this whole thing with the stormtrooper, he's just like, "You're, what are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to the store." "So why are you out of breath? Why are you sweating?" "Because it's hot." "Yeah, no, I don't buy it. You're one of them." He's like, "No, I'm not." And then the droid comes in. You think it's K2SO. It's not. At least it wasn't altered. Doesn't seem like it was. But they gave you a nice dupe. And it's one of these droids, and what happens? He goes, "Hey, hang around and watch this guy." And he's like, "Hang?" And what happens? Grabs him by the neck, holds him up, and you think he's going to choke him out. But you know what? And then after this, there's this whole scene where he's getting, you see what this kind of kangaroo court thing. It reminded me of like The Dark Knight Rises when Scarecrow is in Bane, and they're just sending people out to die. That's what they're doing there, these people. They're like, "It used to be a 6-month sentence. Now you're getting 6 years." He's like, "For what?" And now he's probably going to have to get bailed out, join the rebellion again and all that. But it's so much building. And it was a good standalone episode because Gilroy had said, that, as I've been pretty clear, the things that I've loved, you've had episode 1 was a jab, episode 2 was a hook, episode 3 was a close off with that storyline with an uppercut. Episode 4 was a jab, episode 5 was a hook, close it off with an uppercut with the big heist. This one was a standalone, kind of the in-between, the aftermath of that. And then there's a new arc that starts, right? And maybe there's a time jump. I don't know. But either way, this show is just, this show to me, House of the Dragon in this show is must-watch television. I could not keep my eyes off this show. It's such great world building, character building. Is it slower than most of the other Star Wars show? Absolutely it is. Do I love it because of that? Yes. This is smart Star Wars. And we have not had a show this in depth. And again, I would push back anybody that says this is not Star Wars. This is about as Star Wars as it gets. There's especially with all the stuff that happened with the Empire, so much of it in this episode. Yularen shows back up, by the way. How about that? I didn't forget about that. And that was a nice cameo throwback to the. So it does. Gilroy is paying attention to what came before him, and I love that. Anyway, what you guys think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and comment. Let me know. And once again, if you're brand new to the channel, I need you to subscribe. Almost to 70,000. So get us there, please. And thank you. Show a Little Class. And if you want to show a little class, you actually go to the T-shirt store now. We have Show Little Class shirts. You can get the link in the description. All right, everybody. That's Andor. That's the show. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.